Meanwhile, later today, lawyers will give their opening arguments in the trial of former Hillary Clinton campaign attorney Michael Sussmann. It's the first trial in special counsel John Durham's investigation of the Trump-Russia probe. The jury was finalized yesterday, and it includes as many as 3 Hillary Clinton donors and one who supported far-left Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley joins us on what we can expect. Professor, does that seem fair to you? Can those 3 people who donated to her campaign be fair?
Well, the special counsel objected to particularly one of these jurors as being biased, and Judge Cooper overruled that. This is the latest of a series of decisions by the court that has in some ways debilitated aspects of the prosecution. You know, the court previously ruled that Durham could not make critical linkages to the Clinton campaign during the trial. And Durham's people were, I think, incredulous and said, well, hold it. The reason we're saying that he hid his connection to the Clinton campaign was that this was part of an overall effort to do so. The other attorney in this firm, Mark Alias, who was the general counsel of the Clinton campaign, was also accused of lying about the Clinton campaign funding the Steele dossier. This deals with a separate Russian collusion theory involving the Alpha Bank. But both of these individuals were accused of similar conduct, and the campaign was accused of just concealing its role in spreading Russian collusion theories. The court said, I'm not going to let you make those close connections. You're not going to be able to present that to the jury. So the prosecution is starting out with some very significant limitations imposed by the court, and I don't agree with them.
Right. And keep in mind, for the folks at home, this trial really is about, the charge is that he, Mr. Sussmann, lied to the FBI because he took this information to the general counsel, and they said, are you working for somebody? And he said, no, this is just on my own. Like, I'm just offering this up to save America. But here's the thing, Professor, shouldn't Robert Mueller have figured all this stuff out in 2016? I mean, he had a $40 million investigation. You would have thought he connected all the dots back then.
Well, this is, in fact, the same charge that was brought by Mueller against a number of Trump officials. And frankly, the trials could not be more different. You know, in the prosecution of Flynn, who pleaded guilty, the judge in this very same courthouse really applied a no-holds-barred approach, anything the prosecution wanted. In this case, it's much, much more restrictive. But there are a lot of questions that you raise, which are legitimate. We're learning a lot of new information about the role of the Clinton campaign in creating these collusion allegations, of spreading them, of hiding their funding. Recently, the Clinton campaign was fined by the FEC for hiding the funding of the Steele dossier and calling it legal costs through this firm, Perkins Coie. All of that is relatively new, and the question is why the Mueller campaign, why the Mueller prosecutors failed to uncover any of this.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one big difference is the Mueller investigation leaked like a sieve. We heard everything they were working on. But by comparison, the Durham probe has been relatively leak-free. We only found things out in court filings. Professor, thank you very much. We'll see what happens today.
Thank you.
You bet.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.